This is Andrew Bronski, and in this session for OTF Connects, I'm going over the basic functionality for Google Slides. All right, as you can see on my screen here, I'm currently in my Google Drive account. And to create a Google slide, which is very similar to using, say, PowerPoint or Keynote, I'm going to go off within Drive here over to the red New button on the left and click that. And from here, I get a variety of options to create. I'm going to slide down to Google Slides and select that. All right, once I've done that, it brings me to a basic template for creating a slide deck or a presentation style. So again, very similar to the idea of PowerPoint, very similar functionality in many ways. All right, the first thing I want to do is put a title for my presentation itself. So it's kind of like the file name. So up in the top left-hand corner here, I'm just going to throw in OTF Connects. Okay. And from here, it starts off with a very basic template, plain white. But as you can see here, it's got a little box off the side for me with themes. I can see you can access themes from here also. And there's a variety of basic templates here, so I can scroll through. So this is what I'm currently on. It's called Simple Light. But I can click through and test out some different themes here and look at what they have to offer. And kind of slide through and see what is here as the basic templates and the names. You can also import themes, so if you have other people who have shared a slide deck with you, or you can find other things online or other ones you've used in the past, you can click here to import them and use them as well. I'm going to slide back up here and I'll just click on one for this video. And so there, once I've got my theme, I can just click the X up here in the top right to close that off. And now I've got my basic template. So again, I can do whatever I like with this here. OTF Connects, and if you want to have a subtitle, I might be using Google Slides. Okay. I can also see that update off to the side here and get an overview of what I've got for my slide decks in here. So the very basics with this. Like I said, I've got my title in here. I can interact with this and use this. Up in the very top left, I can add new slides this way. I've also got a little drop deck, so I can play around with the layouts here and choose a specific layout I want. If I just click the plus button, it starts adding new slides in for me. So say if I want to do 5 slides total here, I click it, and I've got, so my first one as I click on, I can jump through and look at these basic slide templates to interact with this. Very similar to using Google Docs in a variety of ways. You've got your toolbar here, so you've got print options, I can undo or go back, but then you get some different options as you go through here as well. So I'm just going to highlight some of them. So you can select certain things. If you want to insert a text box, I can click on that, and I could click and drag here and add a specific text box onto this document if I like. If you don't want something, get rid of it. Again, you can see in here, if I get this little 4 directional arrows, if I click on the actual thing here, and then select to delete it, you can delete it that way as well. Okay, but you don't need the text box. There is a default text box in here in this template right now. So we've got a slide title and then the insert here for this. So, but text box are there. You can also insert an image. So for example, I click on image here, I get a variety of options. I can choose to upload something from my hard drive. I can take a snapshot of the screen. I can enter a URL for something online. You can also access your drive, your albums from your computer, and do a search for that as well. Okay, so very simple and easy to insert images in here. You've got an option to insert shapes, so you can hover over these and see the variety of shapes you could possibly enter into this document and use in your presentation. And lines as well. You can see you got options for line here, so you can do line, arrows, elbow connectors, and again, you've got a lot of different options as you're working through this. Get this text box out here. We talked about commenting in Google Docs. You can see the comment feature here, so you can actually leave comments off to the side, or if you share this with multiple people, they can leave comments on your presentation as well. If it's students collaboratively working together to do a, say, a collaborative presentation, they can give some feedback to here as well. So that's the commenting feature. A few other options for personalization here. So I can see on background, I can click to change the background, I can play around with the color, I can add images into the background if I want. I can also have an option to change my theme here, add new themes into this. See the colors here, you got a lot of chances for personalization, play around with the colors for this template. So that'll be the background feature. I mentioned layout. This is another way to change the layout of a slide. So if I want to say have 2 columns, the title of 2 columns, I can click that, and now I've got that title of 2 columns. Another possible layout for this one here, I've got section title and description. I can play around with that. It just gives me some defaults that I can use as a basic template to play around with. But again, you can create your own by using the text boxes and images and other things in here as well. So that'd be the layout feature. You can go and build a variety of slides, and say if you decide you don't like your theme, you can click on theme here again and get those options and play around and switch it to something else or test it out with something else. So if I click on this one here, for example, I can see my slide switch over to this new theme, and I don't lose my content, which is a nice feature as well. If I can close themes out here though, you also have the answers for transitions or animations. So if I click on transition here, I can see there's no transition with this slide right now. If I click the drop down, I can see I can do a fade, I can slide from left to right, flip, cube, gallery. You've got some options to play with there. You can select specific objects to animate too. Okay, you can test them out. You can do something to apply to all slides or just do it for individual slides. Close off the animations here. So that's the basics for the toolbar here that's very specific to Google Slides. We also have the basic toolbar as well. So for example, if I click on File, I've got my basic options here that's very similar to Google Drive. Some things here. If you look to download as, once you've created a slide deck, you can download it into a certain file format. Again, working in Google Slides here, you're working in the Drive atmosphere, which means it's all cloud-based, so it's tied to the web. I'm working on a web page online, but if I want a specific file to share with someone, I can choose to download this as, say, a PowerPoint or as a PDF, and you got a variety of other options here as well. I also have the option to publish to the web, just like in Google Docs, which would mean it'd be a more published version of this. Anyone with the link to that would not see the editor, they just see the finished product of my slides. Okay, we can come back and look at that. I got a chance to email off to people here as well. Okay, edit, very straightforward in what you're looking at for this. View, you can look at different things, change your sizing around, look at animations, look at the master template for your docs, and actually do some editing to the master template here as well for your slides. Insert feature, very important. You'll see some that have already used and been discussed from the toolbar. So you can see the text box, for example, here. You can insert images, you can link out to things. A couple you didn't see in the toolbar though is one is video. You can actually embed or insert videos right into here. You can pull up YouTube very simply and have those YouTube videos inserted in these slides. And you also have a chance to add in some word art here as well. Find other special characters and other things in the insert slide. On the slide template, you get a variety of options again. It's another space to add new slides. You can duplicate slides or delete them from here. You can also do that by right-clicking on a slide. So for example, if I leave this for a second here, and if I click on slide number 3, if I right-click on it, I get a chance to new slide, duplicate it, delete it. I can play around and change specific things to this or add transitions right from here as well, just by right-clicking on the slide itself. Okay. So that's from slides. If I look at format, I haven't added anything in here, but if I go around and play with some text here, I'm just going to throw some gibberish in. And then again, if I come back and look at format, I'll get a variety of options here to play around with the formatting of that text and play around with it in different ways. If I look at my arrangement, I can play around with that here, so I can change around the ordering. If I want to move something forward or back, I can do it that way. I can center things on the page or rotate specific things. You can also change your slides specifically just by clicking and dragging. So if I wanted to make slide number 2 here, my last slide, I can simply click and drag it down, and I can see if I want to drop it there and change my order, or I can click and drag it back up to the top here and make it my second slide again. Okay. You also have the tools options in here. So under tools, research was something I talked about in Google Docs. It's a great way to find content. So again, if I click on research and I switch, say if I want to add an image to this, again, I'm going to go back to OTF. You can see what pops up there, not what I'm looking for, so I'm going to throw in OTF Connects. And here's something more looking for. So say if I wanted to add this image in, I can click, drag this over into my slide deck. And I can see it's populated in there for me now. Drag this over here and I can play around with the sizing, get it to where somewhere I want it to be, and add that image to this. And again, close off the research tier too. Again, really love that. You can see now I've got some other options here for cropping. I can reset the image. I got image options. I can replace it with something, so I get those options there too. You can add tables here, and again, if you're ever not sure how to do something, you forget to do something, if you're wondering if Google Slides does do something, it's very easy to come in here to the search menu, search it out, and see if you have an option to use it that way as well. Okay, number of basics there. Another key thing to look at too as well is actually doing your presentation. You can look up in the top right hand corner here, you get the option to present. So I can start from a specific slide. I can go present from the beginning with my speaker notes. As you can see down here at the bottom, you can click to add notes in here and leave details for yourself. And remember too, again, this would be show up in a final document or something you're sharing or publishing to online. But if you're presenting with speaker notes on, you can see these for yourself. They won't show through a projector if you're presenting in front of a class. So again, as an example here, if I click on present from beginning, it takes me into a presentation mode. I can use the arrows on my keyboard to switch through, or at the bottom I can see my slides and kind of click arrows to jump through my content as well. Just click escape to exit that mode. Again, I mentioned comments in here. It's the exact same sharing features as Google Docs. And it's a pretty powerful tool for Google presentations, a variety of ways to use it. And again, just like other things within Google Drive, you can share them with multiple people and collaborate together on it, or you can keep it to a very personal style for yourself. All right, anyways, that's the basics of using Google Slides through Google Drive, and thanks for listening.